you a self-storage owner or operator looking for service providers to help at your facility? Well, the Storage Business Owners Alliance, also known as the SBOA, has you covered. The SBOA is the premier online hub for connecting self-storage owners and operators to industry-leading products and service providers. We provide one-stop shopping for your business with exclusive offers to save time and money. At the SBOA, we believe by coming together, we help owners and operators grow revenue, gain purchasing power, reduce expenses, improve efficiencies, and increase profitability. We also offer many resources such as our conferences and self-storage unlock webinars to help self-storage owners and operators gain the knowledge needed to become more competitive in the industry. To become an SBOA member or to find out more information, please visit www.thesboa.com today. We can't wait for you to join the Alliance.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday, self-storage industry. Thank you so much for joining us again for another live Self-Storage Unlocked. Today's episode is all about getting ready for the high lease season. We want to make sure that you guys are fully equipped with a survival guide of all the things that you should be doing to get ready. We've got an exciting panel for you today. And before I bring up my guest moderator, let me go back a little bit. I'm Jessica Johnson. I'm the VP of the Storage Business Owners Alliance, better known as the SBOA. And as that video showed you from Ian, our founder, we are a resource for the industry to get connected to other resources and service providers that we've used within our own portfolio of self-storage facilities throughout the years that have helped us create operational efficiencies and save us time and money. And we want to do the same for you. Before we jump in and I introduce my guest moderator today, I want to go over a few housekeeping items with you. We are live. Your opportunity to chat with the experts live is going to be done in the chat feature, which most of you are putting your names and where you're from in there. Hi, Grace. Hi, Amber. Hi, everyone. Hi, Chip. I see all of your names. Thank you guys again for following us and joining us today. And on that same right-hand side, you'll see a section called polls. We want to learn more about you and your business so we can better help you. We've been doing this a long time, almost 25 years, so we feel like we've mastered this process pretty well at this point. Obviously, it's changing with all the advancements in technology and the industry is just booming. But if you could take a minute and let us know more about you by answering those poll questions, it really helps us kind of gauge our audience and kind of how to tailor what we're talking about today with all of you. So one last item, if you go to the left-hand side of your screen, after today's session, it'll be open for about 30 minutes till 3:30 Eastern. There's an expo area where the presenting companies, their information is there today. And we can't put on these type of events without the presenting companies that help us do this. So big shout out to the Storage Group based in Michigan, Universal Storage Group, XPS Solutions, and our very own SBOA Tenant Insurance. So without further ado, I always say I'm going to change that, and I still say it every single week. I'm going to bring up my guest moderator for the day, which is Mr. Chad Lundberg. Hi, Chad.
Hey, Jess. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We've got ISS and some exciting industry events coming up. So happy to be here. Happy to have you here. Chad, I love your story. Your dad kind of got you in this and just tossed you in and said, go figure it out, right? So tell the audience a little bit about yourself, how you got in self-storage, how long you've been doing this, and then we'll bring your guest panelists up.
Sure. I have been in the industry since 1994. My dad bought our first storage facility. And back then, we didn't have state associations. We didn't have the SSA. We didn't have the SBOA for guidance. We were thrown to the wolves a little bit. And you just kind of learned on the cusp. So I gradually learned over the years. And I'm always happy to share my knowledge and industry knowledge because I am very fortunate to get to watch all these great webinars every week and just learn from the best people. So I like to share what I learn with everyone. And like I said, we're based out of Fruitport, Michigan. We run 15 locations. I get to work with my dad and my sister pretty much every day, and it's a family affair at the storage group.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your background, Chad. And Chad became a buddy of mine last year when I met him in person, and I always just can't wait to see your smiling face. You're such a joy to be around.
Thank you.
He's Alana's adventure buddy, but since I'm Alana's BFF, you're now inherently my adventure buddy too. So can't wait for ISS to go on a fun adventure. Chad, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to let you introduce your panel, and then we're going to jump into questions. And audience, again, if you have questions, make sure you put those in the chat so we can answer those for you.
Thanks, Jess. So first off, I'd like to introduce Brian Mosser. Brian is from SBOA Tenant Insurance. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, Chad. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So can you share with our group today a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the industry?
Sure. I've been in the insurance industry for 20 years. I've been with Cornerstone Insurance Producers for 4 years. Cornerstone is the MGA responsible for handling all the SBOA TI policies. We currently work with over 1,900 facilities across the country. We're licensed in all 50 states. We handle the onboarding of facilities, the training, the marketing, the day-to-day processes of questions, and then the claims. So we handle the full gamut of the TI business.
Well, great. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Absolutely.
Next, I would like to bring up Sarah Beth Johnson. Sarah is from Universal Storage Group based out of Georgia. Hi, Sarah Beth.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am well. It's nice and warm down here, unlike where you are.
I'm in Michigan. So can you share with us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
So I have been with Universal for 9 years. I've been in my current role as business development manager for 7 years. And I'm also a board member on the Georgia Self-Storage Association and the charity chairperson. So I'm sure some of you have gotten emails with me hounding you for donations for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Universal, we do design, development, management, consulting, feasibility studies. And so if you need any of those services, I am your girl.
Great. Well, once again, thank you for joining us. And you are a wealth of knowledge, and you're someone that I really look up to. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we got Sharon Chobano from XPS Solutions. She is one of my good friends, and I am so happy to have her join us today. Hi, Shannon.
Dad.
How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Good. So share with you your experience and how you got to where you're at today in this industry, and always looking forward to seeing your smiling face at all this shows.
Thank you. Well, I started with XPS in January of 2011. I had previously come out of another industry, but one of my a previous boss of mine was with XPS at the time, and just opened that door wide for me. So I have spent the last decade plus learning self-storage really from the ground up. I don't know that I had ever noticed a storage facility before I came here. So I sure do now. And I always tell people one of my very favorite things about this industry is exactly what you just said a few minutes ago, that you love jumping on these webinars and being able to hear experts in the industry and learn from them. And I've been doing it for years, and I'm so thankful.
Yes. Well, thanks, Shannon, once again for joining us today. So we are entering our busy season, but really we've been busy for the last 2 years. So hopefully today we're going to share with everyone the importance of what we need to do to be prepared for the next upcoming busy season. And we're going to just go right to it. Sarah Beth, let's start by, I want to ask you about how do you prepare your management company? How do you prepare your staff to make sure that they're properly trained and the property's ready? What does your training program look like? And how do you train your managers?
Well, we always like to say that we can train anybody to do this job, but you have to have a great attitude to start in this job correctly. But when we hire people, we have a 4-part training process. So the first 2 weeks of their training is either in Atlanta or at one of our training locations, or over Zoom, depending upon what their owner wants. So we go through 2 weeks of training on SiteLink and all of our processes and how to do storage in general. And then we go into phase 3 later, which is about a 6-hour Zoom call with Stacy Maxwell, our VP of marketing. And we teach constant contact, Facebook, on the ground marketing, in-store marketing. And then we have another phase 4, where our full-time auction coordinator will go to the store or do via Zoom and teach them auction processes. Throughout the month, we also have training classes live on webinars. Once a month, our entire group gets together and we have about an hour-long class on whatever subjects the managers submit to us that they want to learn. And we also have a portal that they can access training videos and any other marketing ideas they may want and so on throughout the month.
Wow. You guys manage about 76, I believe?
Yep. Over 70 locations. We consult for over 20 more locations. And then we do individual packages for people of education or secret shopping or whatever they need. I say, call me, and if we don't have it listed, we'll come up with it and we'll come out and help you.
Okay. And what's the best way that you have found to make sure that you keep your employees abreast in the changes in the industry? Do you let them come to the shows? Do you let them come to these webinars? What's the best way that you've found to really be up to date with what's going on in our industry? Because it's rapidly changing.
Oh, sure. So all the stores get the national publications. We register them for those. If I find a super interesting article that I think might help them, I will email all the stores and say, look at your ISS magazine, look at this article. We also do the training once a month. And then once a year, we bring, we did it via Zoom the past 2 years, but normally we bring all of our managers to Atlanta for a weekend. And we do an entire weekend with an awards banquet and, monetary awards and 2 full days of training on all the subjects that they have told us they want to learn more of. We also do 101 classes and 102. So it's not boring, because we have some managers that have been with us for 25 years that really don't want to learn how to fill out their targets workbook again or whatever. They want to dive more into, how do I read the management summary? What do these numbers mean? And how does this affect me? So that's how we take care of that all year.
Well, that's incredible. And my next question is directed to Shannon. As we know, automation, Collins, I know you know what I'm trying to say, is a huge role in our industry, consolidation, and now more than ever, XPS focuses on call centers and pay-by-phone automation. Tell us more about how critical this is for storage owners and facilities, because we know when we miss a phone call, that's lost income, lost revenue. What do you guys do to make sure everything's up to date?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we start from the basic premise that you guys pay a lot of money to get your phone to ring in the first place, right? And the last thing you want to do is A, waste that opportunity, but B, certainly we don't want to let anyone who wants to rent get away. If they reach a voicemail box or they can't speak to a live person, they're going to hang up and call the next number. They're not sitting and waiting for someone to get back with them. We know this. So it's really, really important that we grab that call right away. Now, and depending on how your facility is set up, like Chad, you guys run on, fully automated. So everything is coming over this way. You're not having someone catch that. Some people have staff on site who try to catch that call, and we get it if they can't. But one of the things that we also like to talk about is how many of those phone calls are your current tenants or what we would call a non-sales opportunity, right? So we try to automate as much of that as we can, make people able to do things for themselves, use an automated payment system. 80% of the calls that we take are non-sales, and a lot of those are, what do I owe on my bill, or just making a payment. So it's not even just that you don't want to do that yourself. Like, that's just not time you want to spend on the phone, period. So whatever we can automate. And then things like a mobile app you can offer to your tenant so that they can do things like that from their own phone. That just makes it easier for you as a client, which in turn makes it easier for your tenants. It's a win-win on that.
Yeah, it sure is. There are many software options out there for property management.
Mhm.
I know Sarah Best in the management, Shannon's on the call side, and Brian's on the tenant. What are if someone's looking for software, what critical pieces should we be looking for? What's some of the best software solutions to offer the managers and owners out there who need
You
help?
asking me?
I'm asking all three of you guys.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to jump in and just tell you that we are blessed in this industry with a lot of different companies that can handle self-storage, and that's their primary industry. So I would just say, as long as you pick one, pick someone, a national player who's good. They're going to be at your SSA trade shows, your ISS trade shows, typically even your state shows. Just stick with any one of those, because again, in this industry, we're blessed that everybody works together, to be able to handle any of that. Sarah Beth, I know you guys use SiteLink, right?
Yeah. And, that's the biggest thing is it's got to be super easy to use. And then also mobile friendly. You need to be able to have a software that'll integrate with a website so you can rent, lease, reserve from it. It also has to be scalable as you grow. And then the biggest thing I've learned is people don't know what their software can do. They don't know everything that it does. You don't know that you can send out birthday greetings out of SiteLink, or, there's so many other options. They know how to rent a unit, take a payment, and see the one report they want to see, but they don't dive in and take advantage of the classes offered by the different providers and, and use it to its fullest extent. You're spending great money, find out everything it can do for you and use it.
Brian, do you have anything to share or add?
Oh, I think he's
muted.
Sorry. So the only thing I would say on the insurance related side of the software is making sure it's compatible. So the ease of use, being able that it ties into your point of sale system, where the insurance rolls in, and that makes it very easy to use and manage, and then it kicks out all the reports that you would need. But like the group is saying, we're very blessed in the fact that we have many options, and there are national companies out there. 10 years ago when SBOA TI was launched, we had two. So it's really grown. It's grown over the years, and there's new options out there, which is great. And sometimes it is based on cost, and cost is a big factor of having that software. But if you're still doing things manually, like TI, it's eating up your time and getting into your profit. So having the ability where it ties into the API is huge.
In automation, that's we all have been listening to that. That's the new thing, and as simple as possible. So make sure your software does all that and it's compatible. So Brian, I want to pick on you some more. The SBOA tenant insurance program allows facilities to offer tenant insurance for a small fee. Can you explain the benefits of offering tenant insurance, as well as can you explain how your team trains and markets and prepares the staff to offer tenant insurance to their tenants?
Yeah, so being able to train is one thing, but the nice thing about our program, whether you own one facility and have 40 units, or you own 100 facilities and have thousands of units, our program works. And it all starts in the training and the compliance that we offer. So we have a compliance department making sure that what the insurance we're offering in your state matches up to the state regulations. And then that follows the training that we're training the staff, and then also the marketing materials. Everything is approved by the insurance departments. Everything is reviewed by them. And then we enforce that at the facility level. Our account managers work with the facilities, the regional managers, to make sure everyone is selling the product correctly. As far as the product goes, it's a great for a very small fee, starting at $9 a month. It's giving the protection not only to the operator, that if something were to happen, like a fire, or a cave-in on a roof, or a leaky pipe, but also if the store is broken into, or the unit's broken into, it provides them coverage. their homeowner's policy typically has a deductible of $1,000, $500 that they would have to pay to get their stuff to file a claim. So in our case, our policy has no deductible, so it's protecting the tenant and it's protecting the storage facility owner if something were to happen to those stored goods.
Okay. I know last fall I had a fire at one of my locations, and I was so thankful that we do require tenant insurance. And I rest assured at night sleeping, offering that to myself. Sarah Beth, this one's directed towards you. I know you guys, USG, puts an emphasis on competition surveys. Can you walk us through, if I'm interested in a competition survey, comp survey, feasibility survey, walk us through that process just a little bit. How it goes.
So we have two different ways. We have the old school way where we still have the comp survey in an Excel sheet that we fill out. We do an online version and an in-person version. And I just saw Carol come on. It reminded me, I do thousands of secret shops all over the country, making up stories and trying to get information from people and seeing how they behave. And we also tell our managers to go do that. So not only are you supposed to look online, you should go in person and go meet your competition. And I always say, I don't know if it's just the South, but when I was in stores, I would go to Little Caesars and get a pizza at lunchtime and get a 2-liter of Coke. It cost me $6. And I would take it and go sit at my competitor and be like, hey, I'm Sarah. I'm down the street. I just wanted to see what, units you had. And I'm all climate. Maybe I can send people here. And then here's my rates. What are your rates? It's not a state secret. Everything is online now. So it's very important for the managers to know that, so that if you don't have what somebody is looking for, then you know who out there has it. But you also know who has a good manager that's going to take care of them and whose property isn't kept up and where you don't want to send them. So even though you want to be the person's solution, you don't want to be a solution to somebody you don't want them to go to. And then now we also utilize Store Track. So every day, the stores, the area managers, and everybody at corporate are emailed competitors' rates, and then the managers check that. We also give them full authority to look at their rates and suggest what they want their rates to be. We know our procedures and how we like rates to look, but the manager knows their location and knows what can be tolerated in that location more than somebody sitting behind a computer 2,000 miles away. So, those are the two different ways that we help with competitive surveys.
Okay. Yeah, there's just so much Store Track, and there's several others out there. And people that have new to the industry, they don't necessarily they think a 10 by 10, all 10 by 10s are the same, and there's no value pricing. And can you share a little bit about that with the group? I know the call center, we have a couple different price strategies and stuff like that. The importance of offering and upselling to your clients' needs, your tenants' needs.
Sure. I mean, you want to make sure that you know your property. If I have a 10 by 30 in the front, obviously I'm going to ask more money for that than a 10 by 30 on the third floor in the back 40 of the location. Now, Anne wouldn't have designed it that way, so it's probably a store that we now manage that she did not design. But, knowing your market is the key to everything, really. It's pricing, it's marketing, it's being able to help your customer. Just knowing what's out there and doing your competitive surveys are big in how you're going to price your units.
Mm-hmm. And as we all know in the group, that more and more of our tenants and prospective tenants, they're finding us and doing all their transactions online. Websites are huge. I mean, COVID has taught us anything that more and more people, they want to hide behind a computer and interact and buy their groceries online and rent storage units online. They don't want to walk through our office anymore. What does like XBS and USG. How often do you guys check the website for accuracy and making sure that your website is optimized for mobile and stuff like that? Monthly, quarterly, yearly, never? I mean, I know the answer, but some people don't ever do this.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Well, the good news is I don't have any of those units online, so we're not checking that. Everything that we do, just so you know, from a call center perspective, is through what we call an API. So we're direct to the software. Typically, if we see it one way, it's going to show the same way on the client's website because it's running through that same API. The good news is, and again, this is why you choose a national player for your software. It is one update. You update your site link, for instance, you update that and it should push automatically to your website. It pushes automatically to us. And that's not just for pricing. That's for, promotions that you're offering. You can do a one-day promo if you like. And going back to your question about, knowing your facility and what Sarah Beth said, absolutely better units or more convenient units should have a premium placed on those. And your software should allow you to do that. And your call center will follow suit. If I see a premium unit versus a budget unit, I'm gonna lean to my client. Sometimes the client is like, give them the cheapest thing, get them in the door. We don't even care, right? Because sooner or later, all that will be left is premium, and that it'll be done. But it could be the other way around, where they're like, listen, we're a premium facility, push that, and we get to be very particular for every single. Even facilities, some facilities are different.
Yeah, it's always different. There's a question that just popped up. Does SiteLink work with Noki? Sarah Beth, do you have that answer?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
And I love the smart locks. I mean, they're incredible. Now, it makes it very hard when you're trying to secret shop for a feasibility and you're trying to get an occupancy number, because I went to a new facility recently and had over 500 units and it had all smart locks. And I'm like, oh, dang it. I don't know which one's not rented, which one is rented. So, but it was a very sleek look through the entire facility. Mm-hmm. And they could charge more.
Sure.
And they weren't. That was the killer, is when I went in, they had all these smart locks and I was like, okay. I said, what money do I need to bring on the first day? And they were like, well, we don't charge an admin fee and we don't charge this and we don't charge that. And you don't have to have insurance. And I'm like, oh my God, I just wanted to stop and be like, quit. I'm really secret shopping you. Please let me help you.
I was going to say, hand him your card, Sarah Beth. Here's the card.
I lied to you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that information. I know, Brian, I had a fire, like I said, last fall. And when you have something like that, what process would an owner follow if they were using SBOA tenant insurance to help the tenants? What would need to be done on my end to make me rest good at night, that night of the fire?
Sure. We have multiple ways that we can. Does anyone else hear the echo? So we have multiple ways that you can file a claim on our website. On the SBOA TI website, there is a claim. Claims tab, you can file it there. You can email us directly, and then you can also call it in. So with respects to a small fire or one unit fire, that's a fairly easy process, and we can get that done for you. At a catastrophe level, our claims department follows the hurricane tracking, the winter storms. So if we know if a hurricane's coming up the Gulf, we know what facilities are potentially would be impacted. And then we're proactively reaching out to those facilities once the storm passes to make sure everything's okay. Do they need to file any claims? And the same thing would happen if there's a major fire. We had a total loss a few years ago. And we had a CAT team on site right away at the facility, and we're able to meet with the insureds, and we're cutting checks right at the facility so they could get their belongings back. So there's multiple ways to do it. The easiest way to do it would be on our website. It gets into somebody right away. They're 24 hours a day. You can send the link. It'll start the claims process.
Okay. We have a question from a member of the webinar today on tenant insurance, so I'm going to direct this to everyone. Is the premium a flat rate on all units? Do you guys have different levels that you offer?
It is the standard policy we offer is a $2,000 policy at $9. There's other increments that we can offer up to $20,000. So in certain areas throughout the country, like in Manhattan or in LA, there's certain things being stored in the facilities where the tenant is asking for higher limits. A lot of times the contract between the facility says you're not supposed to be storing anything under or over $5,000 or $3,000 in the facility. So it goes back to the facility too. So 90% of what we write is that $9 policy for $2,000 in coverage.
Okay. And that's, do you train when you're selling tenant insurance in the training process, do you try to do like a medium level insurance or?
It depends on where it is. So it depends on where in the country they are and we rely on the facilities also to tell us where they feel that they can have the best penetration. So in certain areas where they say, hey, I cannot sell a $9 policy. I need to sell $1,000 limit for $7. I can sell that to my customer. And then there's some areas where we're seeing a $3,000 policy for $12. So it varies throughout the country, and the regional managers and the managers of the facility know their surroundings, and we rely on that, and we work with them and talk with them to educate them on most people are using the 9. But if you don't feel you can get it, we have options for you to go below that or higher than that if you feel that that the coverage would be higher as well.
Okay. From a call center perspective, Brian, too, we are selecting an insurance option for those tenants or those clients where we do a rental right over the phone. Mm-hmm. And we train our team not to lead with that monthly rate, but to essentially say, we require insurance. Do you need $2,000, $3,000, or $5,000, right? And worry about the monthly fee after that. So I'm sure, Sarah Beth in the stores, they're probably doing something similar.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what Shannon said. That's what we do. Exactly. Do you need the $2,000 policy? Do you need the $5,000 policy? These are, what it covers, and this is how much it is. And, everybody is required to have insurance that stores with us. Now, if you don't bring in your insurance declaration page, then of course we're going to sign you up for the policy in the beginning. Go look, it's a requirement of our lease, and sign them up. And if they do bring it in later, then of course we'll take it off. Mm-hmm. But chances are they're not going to remember to bring it in, and it's much easier to pay the $9 a month than to worry about messing with Allstate later on down the road.
Right. Yeah.
And many times it's cheaper per month, especially if you're short term, to use the storage facilities tenant insurance, and people don't realize that.
Yeah. You tell them, how long do you think you're going to be here? 6 months. Okay. So it'll be $60 is what you're going to spend. And, if you use your homeowner's policy, what's your deductible? $1,000. Mm-hmm. So it's totally up to you what you want to do. But here's my option for $60 for the 6 months, because we know you're going to be here for 4 years. It's not going to last.
It's true, and that's where it's important to know your value of your customer when you're missing those phone calls, and you can quickly see the importance of using a company like XBS or OpenTech to answer your phones, because those missed phone calls, that could be a $1,600 phone call for the lifetime of the tenant, and people don't realize that. So it's really important to not miss those phone calls. And then I'm just going to just share quickly about units that are not rentable. Sarah, what do you do when you see a unit that hasn't been rented in 2,000 days? I'm sure your head spins.
Yeah, Anne's had a flip. Just gone. She hates it. So whenever we go to our consulting clients, especially like our own people now know, please don't make anything unrentable, and they know how to make sure it's taken care of, that the ceiling isn't falling in for 2 years. Just call somebody and get it fixed. But when we go to our consulting clients and she marks up their management summary and she's like, unrentable. Why is this unrentable? And they're like, well, we just need to sweep it out. No, here's a broom. I'll go sweep it out for you. Let's change it right now and let's get these units back on. But yeah, unrentable units are a huge, huge no-no. There's absolutely zero reason, unless of a major catastrophe, that you should not be fixing the units that come up and need maintenance, within a very short period of time, because that's just money you're losing.
Yep. I mean, we're paying for our website every month. We're paying for the call center. We're paying the people to sit behind the desk to answer the phones or for the phone book ads, whatever, pay per click. And it could be a simple $200 fix for a garage door to get fixed, and you're turning 10 people away.
Yeah.
Just think of that money. So
that'll make the brokers flip too, because then they'll start doing their adding to say, oh my gosh, this is how much more you could have sold your facility for if you had just rented this unit.
Yep, I get that. So now we're going to talk about retail products and ancillary income. You can really add a lot of money to the bottom line by simply selling locks and mattress covers and boxes, tenant insurance. How often does USG check their inventory and reorder those products?
So we have a checklist, and you're not going to be able to read it, but this is basically what we give our managers, and it has a daily checklist, a weekly, and a monthly checklist. And part of the monthly checklist is to check your box inventory against what you have in SiteLink, the numbers that are in SiteLink. And, especially with shipping delays right now, we do it once a month, but you got to stay on top of that. And if it's leasing season coming up now, get the boxes in now so that you are ready for when that happens. Last year, Ann tracks it. Last year, our average box sales per lease were $19.92. So if you think of every lease you did last year, if you could sell $15 or $20 worth of boxes, and normally that's marked up about 55%, look at all the money that you're leaving on the table if you don't train your managers how to sell them as well. Teach them that when the people come in, visualize that, when I was a manager, I'm a very visual person. So somebody would walk in and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to move. And I will, before you leave, think about it, all your bathroom stuff can go in this small box, and, put the blankets in the big box, and don't overload them because then it'll cost you more with the movers. And I get them thinking about everything. And before they're done, I'm like, well, don't you want to start now so this isn't tied up? Oh, okay. And they start the tape and walking out with them because I've made them think about what they needed to do, and it became overwhelming for them. So they wanted to get started right away and at least get some of the little stuff out of the way. Sure. But yeah, checking your box inventory, your promo inventory, all that should be done at least once a month, and, have a good system in place. Wrap up those pens in bundles of 50 if you have to, so that at the end of the month, you're not counting out 492 pens, knowing that you gave 8 away. So yeah, just keep track of all that. And like I said, especially now because of shipping delays and so on, you get it now and get it in.
Yep. Like tenant insurance, it's a great revenue revenue. SiteLink's got a great report. You can run I use SiteLink. You can run the report for insured and uninsured. So you can reach out to those customers that don't have tenant insurance and figure out why they don't have tenant insurance. And if they're not enrolled, and if your rental agreement says that's required, you automatically add it. And I know it's simple to add, Brian.
Absolutely. It's literally a click of the button when you're going through the point of sale. You check, yes, I want the tenant insurance. You select the limit and you're collecting $5 a month per tenant per insured that selects the insurance. So you look at it at $60 a year per unit just by checking a box.
Mm-hmm. And I know as an owner, I sleep a lot better at night knowing that my tenants and stuff's covered by tenant insurance, for God forbid, like that fire that happened or a roof caves in due to snow. You never know. We can be prepared as much as we can, but things happen.
And the key on that also is make sure that you're using your state approved lease that has the correct wording in it. Don't go to somebody. I have so many people on those Facebook groups. Oh, my neighbor's attorney, best friend did a lease for me. They don't know self-storage. Get one from your state association. And if your state association doesn't have one, call Carlos, call Scott, call somebody and get an actual storage attorney to help you get the appropriate lease.
Mm-hmm. And that's the important thing is now when we're getting into the busy season, make sure your lease is up to date. I see the changes come through all the time. You have to make sure. So it's important to join, support, and participate in your state association, national SSA. I mean, you have to stay up on this stuff. It's not self-storage is quote so easy. It's not a set and forget it. You really have to be up to date on what's going on.
Can I throw a question out there for either Chad or Sarah Beth?
Sure.
Does a company have to be a member of the association in order to buy that lease, or can they just buy that as like a product from the SSA?
I'm not sure about SSA, but as far as gas is concerned, Georgia, if you get the lease or you become a member, it's all the same. You might as well just become a member.
Okay.
So you get the lease with the membership along with all the other benefits. And I want to say it's $250 a year to be a member. So, if you're brand new into the industry, spend $250 and get the lease that's not going to get you sued.
Same thing goes with Michigan. You have to be a member of their state association. Selfstoragelease.com. Their lease is also written by Carlos and Scott Zucker. If your state quote doesn't have association, that's another resource. For $250 to buy a lease, it's a lot cheaper than an attorney at $275 an hour to come up with a lease that's not self-storage specific per se.
Yeah.
So let's get back to some more questions. Last week or 2 weeks ago, James Reed had a great idea about throwing Frisbees in people's yards, promotional ideas. What is some of the best promotional items that you have seen and have given away? Brian, what is SBOA tenant insurance?
I mean, we're an insurance company, so we're not on the creative marketing edge as far as we're the typical pens and pads type of marketing. But I think recently we've done some mouse pads, and then we did some counter mats that we use for our facilities. But generally we're a pens and pads kind of industry.
Okay.
I wish I would have had it in here. I'm looking around and I'm like, dang it, because it all just got delivered. But we just got these really cool in Vegas. Come by the booth, because we're gonna have hand sanitizer and I think lip balm. And then Stacy ordered these. They're metal, so they're not gonna break, and they're back scratchers. So they go in and you pull them out as long as you want, and it's all metal. And I've shown it to everybody in the office, and they've all stolen one already. But those are really, really cool. I really like those.
Good.
I try to keep on brand too. So our team actually just came out with, it's like a stress ball, like a squishy. We call it squishies. But it's actually shaped like a cell phone, to have the My Storefell mobile app on there. So you can have that on your desk and have our little logo right there in your face. But also, if I need to whip it at somebody's head, I don't have to worry about knocking an eye out or anything like that.
We have a site that we're going to do. It's supposed to open in 2 months, and it's right at the lake. And so we're going to do floaty keychains. Everybody needs floaty keychain. If you're at the lake, you have to have a keychain that floats.
And people don't realize that they really need to market their storage facility specifically. That's a great idea by the lake. My Store Pal app, Squishy Ball. I mean, think outside the box, because you want to differentiate yourself, because there's more and more competition coming in down the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shannon, we also talked about missing phone calls earlier today. Many owners ask, do call centers answer their phone calls in the middle of the night? Are they going to answer all my phone calls? Are there certain parameters that they're answered? And do your agents that answer phone calls, do they act like they're my employees?
Sure, that's a great question. We train our team. I'll start with that. We train our team to simply act as if, right? When a call comes to XPS, there's going to be a professionally recorded greeting with your company name. That person really doesn't have any, need to know that they didn't reach the store, I guess. So when the agent actually picks up the phone, they're simply going to say, "Thank you for choosing the storage company name," right? Now we do train them because we're never going to lie. So we train them to act as if, but if it becomes, clear that you need to either pass something off to someone who's on site, or if you get a phone call from someone who says, "Listen, I'm at the Burger King on the corner and I can't see your facility," we can't pretend we're there. That's crazy. We're in another state, right? Or we've had people who have said things like, "No, I know that the lady wrote down my credit card number and put it in the file cabinet. It's literally right behind the desk. You just need to grab that." First of all, they should never, ever do that. Never, ever do that. Jessica, please put that at the bottom in a big, never, ever do that.
PCI compliance.
Yes. But also, our team is obviously going to say, "I'm so sorry, I'm not in the facility, right now." So that answers that question. As far as the middle of the night calls, we do get that question quite a bit. I will tell you that as a call center, we have metrics, 10 ways from Sunday. And we can tell you really very few people call outside of the hours that we're open. We, in fact, years ago, we used to be open an hour later in the evening, but we simply didn't get enough phone calls for that last hour of the day to justify having 2 employees and a supervisor on staff, because we never want anybody to be alone. We always want to make sure we have at least 3 people. So it just didn't make sense to have those people for an extra hour. Now, automated services are absolutely available 24 hours a day. And we have some customers who, for instance, we have like a medical records storage facility where sometimes they need that information in the middle of the night. We can use that automated system to get, if they call the main number, they can automatically get connected to someone who can help them. But it's with the client, right? It's not necessarily someone at the call center. So we have, a very robust, it's what we do for a living, right? So our phone system allows us to do anything like that we need to do.
Yeah, and it's amazing the phone calls that you get before we open and after we close. And a sale's a sale. I'll take it. I mean, and I'll take a rental at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that I would have missed had I not had a call center. So they're definitely worth their money.
And from a call center perspective too, Chad, I mean, we take $1.5 million, probably closer to $2 million by the time we get through this year, because it is busy. Phone calls every year. And I will tell you, most of those, by far the most of those, come during what you consider traditional office hours, because that's when people are doing their business. We don't get a lot of rental calls at 6 o'clock in the morning. People don't expect their storage facility to be open at that time. So Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, that's when we get 80% of our business. So
it's exciting, especially like this month. First is on a Saturday, so it'll be interesting. We're actually closed. This will be our first Saturday we're closed. Ooh. I'm expecting XPS to be extremely busy on the second. So, and also I just like to say, like, the operators that we use on Employee Appreciation Day, I consider them to be my employees as well. So we extend the olive branch to the XPS employees.
Fantastic.
So also, we're wrapping up here. Jess has given me a few more minutes to talk. And to the group, are there any checklists that an owner should do daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly?
It's all right there.
It's all right there.
Jump ahead.
But no, you should actually, the owner can't necessarily come up with this. I mean, obviously, we've had years of experience and years of data to come up with this. And honestly, it just changed again this year and added new things and took things away. But the manager or the owner needs to sit with the manager and get their input too as to what they can accomplish in a day. And then also to that tone, when the manager says, oh, well, I can't do that much in one day and it's too busy here or whatever, the owner can be like, no, I really think that we could add, X, Y, and Z into your daily routine and it's not going to affect you that much.
They need a call center, Sarah Beth.
Yeah, they do need a call center. I mean, I went last year during COVID and ran a store for 3 days. And I tell you what, it's been a while. And it was a U-Haul dealership, and I had not done U-Haul in a while. And somebody asked to hook up a trailer, and I'm like, so one day. But, and also for the owners to do this checklist as well. Go run your site for a day. Go sit there for a day if you're hands-on and see what happens and see how hard things are and the challenges that your managers have and, help them streamline it or fix whatever it is they're asking you to fix, that you think is not necessary, but maybe it is important for them. And the easier their day is and the more efficient their day is, the more leases and the more calls and the more marketing and the more everything they're going to be able to do. And now it's the time. It's leasing season. You should have started 3 months ago. So get it in gear and get it done now.
And prepare those auction units. I learned this a long time ago from the hat lady. Schedule your auctions a year in advance.
Yep.
Otherwise, you forget about it. The month rolls around and you're like, what do I need to do? I mean, we need those non-paying units now with occupancy being at an all-time high across the board. And if we don't have it, the website don't have it, they're going to go to competition down the road.
Yep.
So we really need to make sure that we up our A game a little bit. And Grace Toddy,
she's asking about rentals. Actually, no. I mean, I think part of it is just because through COVID and coming out of that, even we have been adding about 10 new stores every single week. So we just have more and more and more clients that are coming on board. So none of our numbers are dropping, period. But what I would say is that a lot of times it really depends on the website. The better the website, the easier that rental process is, the less likely they're going to stop in the middle and call me, right? So if you are seeing a really high rate of they've clicked on a rental and they've converted to a rental, your calls are probably going to be lower. But some people, that process is so cumbersome or there are so many questions that have to be answered. They stop in the middle and they make a phone call. And absolutely, we still have a need to help people with that. There are still facilities out there that don't offer online rentals. They just do reservations. And so a lot of times when we get that phone call, it's saying, I don't want to reserve it. I want to move in right now. We are very much an on-demand society at this point. I'm not waiting 3 days to do that. If I'm calling you now, it's because I need it now, right? So that we're not seeing any differences there, maybe a difference in why they're calling as opposed to what it used to be.
I would say one more thing just for the owners out there. You just reminded me of it. If you don't hire somebody to do it, that's fine. But have a friend or somebody go secret shop your employee before leasing season starts. Because I cannot tell you the amount of people that when I go secret shop them say, don't listen to me, go online, it's cheaper there. Just get a better price there. Or if you wait till this, we're going to put it, we're going to mark them down. And also they don't get my name and contact information. I would say that maybe 3 to 5 out of every 100 try to actually get my name and number to put me on a waiting list or to call me back to see if I want it, even when I tell them I need it right away. So just a couple of more ideas.
well, Jess is joining us back again. Hi, Jess.
You're muted.
I'm muted. And I always warn everybody not to be muted. And then I'm the one that ends up being muted half the time. No, I joke and say I'm the Grim Reaper of the webinar. So I want to just give the audience a few couple last minutes before we wrap up here today. Thank you all so much for joining us and giving us some of those tips and tricks for surviving the busy season. We want everybody to have a very fruitful busy season and be very occupied. And if you're 100% occupied, change your rates. You don't want to be at 100% occupancy ever. I hate when I hear that number. Our favorite range was like 92, 93% when we had our portfolio. There's different numbers out there, but I would stay within kind of like that lower 90 percentile range if I could give my suggestion there. Before we wrap up, ISS, the Inside Self-Storage, World Expo 2022 is coming up in just a few short weeks in Vegas. The SBOA and SBOA tenant insurance will be there. We will be at booth number 333. I also have a presentation on Wednesday, April 20th at 1 p.m. talking about the process of sourcing vendors and hiring the best vendor for you and how to go through a full request for proposal or quote process, and how to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Sarah Beth and Shannon, Chad, you'll be there in attendance, I believe, not exhibiting because you're an owner-operator. But Sarah, Beth, and Shannon, share some details with us of you guys being at the show and what you'll be doing there.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Sure. Yeah. So we will have a booth. In fact, that's the greatest show of the year. So we'll be all hands on deck for that one. You're going to get to meet, I'll be there. Sherry Miller will be there. I know a lot of you probably know her. She's trying to get her way into that adventure club, Jess. So make sure that you get her in there, okay?
You just got to call me, girl. Tell her call me.
No, she signed up. I think she signed up for Vegas. So
look, Chad, she's going to be kayaking.
You guys will get to meet her. And even, we've got our C-level employees coming to this. So John Traver is the owner of our company, and he'll be speaking on, once again, we're going to be touching on how to staff for this crazy busy season, because staffing is not so easy right now either. So we would love to see you there. Come by and get a squishy cell phone.
I'll be in booth 224. It'll be Anne, and she is actually, I had to look and get it right. She is moderating a developer session with a few people, and Stacy Maxwell, our VP of Marketing, has a table talk. But we will have the entire gang in Vegas again, and just talking about the new technology that we're implementing, and trying to just make sure your business is on track, and get ready for that management leasing up again.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of feasibility studies coming in. Lots of people interested in getting into storage.
Listen, y'all, and you need to get a feasibility study done. It's worth the money, and you're going to turn down deals. Don't get emotionally attached to the deal. Utilize the data. The numbers are going to tell you the truth. So make sure you get a feasibility study if you're looking to build, buy, develop, whatever it may be. Someone asked earlier, is there a replay of this? And yes, there is. I'm going to show you our wonderful YouTube channel. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties earlier. But as you can see out there on YouTube, we have a plethora of information. Our conferences, our past webinars, all of that is available on the SBOA YouTube channel. So please follow us online. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. You can follow all four or pick your one of choice. And we will be back in another, I believe it's 2 weeks, on April 14th. We always do self-storage unlocked either 2 or 3 times a month. Our next event will be Thursday, April 14th. I put 1 p.m. That's a typo. I need a vacation, guys. It's always at 2 p.m. Eastern, not 1 p.m. My fingers were going faster probably than my brain at that moment. But it's going to be all about revenue management. And before we close, I have one quick thing to show everyone. Again, speakers, thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to see you all in person in a couple weeks. And stay tuned for a message that we have for you. I absolutely love that video. If you don't watch that video and feel like you want to jump out of your seat and dance around, then you've got bigger problems going on. I'm just kidding. But that is the Storage for Rookies program. That is the new SBOA educational program. It is designed for newer owners, operators, investors really looking to get into this space. You might be in different asset classes within commercial real estate, like multifamily, retail, whatever it may be. We have a laser focus on our industry because our industry is performing so well. So we have a sister company called Storage Pros Management, where we have built, acquired, sold well over a portfolio of 100 locations. We've been doing this, like I said, now for about 25 years, and we were self-managed when we first started. So we want to help you mitigate some of the mistakes that we made early on in the process. And we've really nailed this process down to at this point. And we feel we're experts. We know what we're doing. We typically were in the list of the top 100 operators when we had our portfolio. We don't have any assets currently, but that is probably going to change by the end of this year. So it's a great program. StorageForRookies.com. You can learn more about it. The next one is going to be on Thursday, May the 12th. Again, newer owner, operator, investor, highly recommend that you attend it. It's $49 for a 5-hour training. You can't beat it. I'm done rattling. Happy Thursday, everyone. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you soon and stay safe out there. See you in 2 weeks for another Self-Storage Unlocked.